Oh, it's just like my mom says. I better find a rich guy to marry me. Because I'm too stupid to take care of myself.
I have yet to do a video on a happy, rich woman. Every video I do with women that grew up in the lap of luxury with a silver spoon in their mouths always end up with them being extremely depressed, having terrible childhoods, very lonely, isolated, and immensely insecure. At this point, I need to do a whole playlist for the poor little rich girls, right? Maybe I'll do that and I'll pin it in the comments so you guys can go check out these stories. I think I'll do that. Well, this story is no different. This is a story of just a broken little girl, wounded, that needed love, affection, and just people to really guide her path. And all of the mistakes that she did, you can somehow link them to her childhood and just a woman crying out for help. How did Tori Spelling end up living in an RV trailer home when her mother has like $500 million? How? How did she end up so broken and poor with her 5 children, homeless, telling the media and TMZ that I need a home when she grew up with a silver spoon in her mouth? In today's video, we will break that down and get to the bottom of it while also going over her childhood, her iconic career, because she was an it girl of the 90s, and her scandalous romances, as well as where she is now. What is she doing? But first, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Green Allude, where we deep dive and break down the most iconic stars through history. If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so. And if you're already subscribed, please turn on your notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. Let's start first, of course, with her childhood. So Tori Spelling was born on May 16th, 1973. She was thrust into a world of glitz and glamour, but her story is far from the fairy tale it might seem. Her parents, Candy and Aaron Spelling, were not just any couple. They were Hollywood legends. Candy, a former model known for her striking looks, and Aaron, a titan of television production. He was the most famous at the time and one of the biggest producers of Hollywood. So wealthy, wealthy, wealthy. They created a life of unimaginable luxury for their daughter. Tori didn't just come from a wealthy family. She was born into Hollywood royalty, the elite, living a life that many could only dream of. Their lavish estate, Spelling Manor, sprawls over a jaw-dropping 56,500 square feet. So if you live in like a, let's be generous, 2,000 square foot apartment, that was the size of their kitchen. That's crazy, which is far larger than even the White House. Their house is bigger than the White House. It's no surprise that this mansion is often dubbed the biggest in Los Angeles.
Meanwhile, Tori stayed close to her family in their new 123-room, 56,000 square foot mansion known simply as the Manor.
I remember going to Tori's room once and thinking it was bigger than my apartment.
There was a bowling alley downstairs. We never had to go outside to go to an arcade. There was a movie theater.
It's huge. There's an elevator in it.
There is a doll room. My mom collects dolls.
Tori had been given a doll, and I said, why don't we start collecting them? At one point, she said, Mom, get all of these dolls out of my room. I can't stand all these faces looking at me.
The Manor, which is, at the time, was one of the biggest houses, if not the biggest house in the United States. Your dad builds this big house. You didn't move in until you were, what, 18?
16. Like now, I would be like, wow, that's a huge house. When I was young, I didn't know the difference. The manor was beautifully decorated. My mom has impeccable taste, but the rooms were large and it felt cold all the time just because.
Like physically cold.
Physically.
So the house is 123 rooms, 14 bedrooms, 27 bathrooms in 56,000 square feet.
How many bedrooms?
14.
Damn, I think I only ever saw 5.
How many people does it take to run a house like that? How many people were working?
Oh, she probably had over 20 staff.
All the time, full time?
Full time. Oh, or more. Imagine that water bill.
But behind the shimmering facade of wealth lay a troubling reality. Tori's parents showered her with extravagant gifts. She grew up in a world where love was quantified by price tags. In a revealing moment shared with ABC, Tori recounted how her father arranged for snow to be trucked in so she could experience a white Christmas despite the sweltering 80-degree heat of LA. And Tori really thought the way she was living was the norm for everybody because she was really sheltered and was very clueless of how it was out there for everyone else, because she was stated as saying, "I thought every kid had snow in their backyard on Christmas." She reminisced blissfully, unaware of how twisted that reality was. She's talking about in LA. That's wild, right? Her dad was pretty obsessed with her. She was a daddy's girl. She was the apple of his eye. It was just, he loved his daughter and would do anything for her. While Tori's relationship with her father was warm and doting, though, her bond with her mother was cold and distant. Tori felt a nagging disconnect with her mother from a young age. In a shocking revelation, Tori recalled a moment when she asked her mother, "Am I pretty?" Expecting, as a mom would say, "Of course, my darling, you're gorgeous," some warm affirmation. Instead, her mother responded with a stinging remark, saying, "You will be when you get your nose done." Yikes. This moment foreshadowed a troubled mother-daughter relationship, culminating in Tori undergoing rhinoplasty, like she did go get her nose done at just 16. Can you imagine? It's no wonder Tori found herself chasing love in all the wrong places. And of course, her mother in Hollywood, these moms, like look at the Kardashians, at what age they allowed Kylie Jenner to get surgery. So these Hollywood super famous moms, they're already very plastic themselves with all the surgery. So I don't doubt that they would encourage that on their young impressionable daughters to live the lifestyle that they live, because they don't see a problem wrong with it. Her mom probably was just keeping it real with her in the sense like, hey, tweak this, tweak that. I did it. I tweaked myself, so why not? But I can't even imagine what that would do to a psyche of a young child, because parents should be the one affirming their children and making sure that they know they are gorgeous. And this would play a role in Tori's life for the remainder of her life. In her memoir, Stories Telling, Tori exposed the rift that was created by her father's adoration, her mother's harshness. She wrote about Aaron showering her with affection, her father, even declaring, "I love you more than your mommy," end quote. That kind of love was intoxicating, but also isolating, as it left Tori grappling with her mother's critical gaze. So the father was showing too much affection towards Tori that it made the mom jealous. Y'all know situations like that. Like, let's keep it real, where the moms end up jealous of their daughters because of the way the fathers dote on the daughters. The mom just wanted to be number one, according to Tori. This is according to her in her book. It put her in a terrible position because he was just showing too much love. Despite the glitzy lifestyle and the fame that came with starring on a hit series like Beverly Hills 90210, Tori's self-esteem took a severe beating. Fans were oblivious to the turmoil that raged beneath the surface. The actress behind the beloved character of Donna was battling her own demons. In a candid 2019 Instagram post, she unveiled her struggles, confessing that she was a young, really insecure teenager that never thought I was good enough. And she was also talking about how she was told often that she look like a toad or look like a frog, or she look like she has Down syndrome or something. People made fun of that. And then also, being rich didn't mean she had all these friends. She also got bullied a lot for her dad being rich. Like, a lot of the kids would make fun of it and call her, "Oh, daddy's little rich spoiled girl," this and that, make fun of it because of jealousy and envy. Her story reminds me of Barbara Hutton, which I did a video also, which will be in the playlist, Poor Little Rich Girl playlist, to check that out. Because much like Barbara Hutton, we will see that Tori Spelling starts to, pay off or bribe people to kind of be around her in those earlier stages of her life. So that's I can't even imagine. And if you're at home and, according to Tori's own words, she's not getting affirmation from mother, who is the first figure of beauty that we experience as children, your dad can tell you look good. But if your mom, this beautiful model, the first figure of beauty that is not affirming you, I mean, come on. While Donna was the quintessential it girl, Tori felt like an imposter in her own life. Off camera, I didn't feel at all beautiful or good enough myself, she admitted. Growing up in the spotlight only magnified her insecurities, and although those years on Beverly Hills 90210 were some of the best of her life, they were also a painful reminder of her inner turmoil. Tori Spelling's life is a wild ride of privilege, pain, and the quest for acceptance in a world that seemed to offer everything but the love that she craved. But she is and was so pretty to me. Let's quickly do a segment on her beauty secrets. Although she had gotten a lot of plastic surgery, I didn't find anything wrong with Tori. And I know people be like, "Oh, I'm just saying that just to say that." No, I love unique beauty. She has a very unique beauty, and she looks just so vulnerable to me, so soft and vulnerable all through childhood. That's just how I see the aura that I get from her. But she, unfortunately, because of all the insecurities and what she was going through at home, she got a lot of plastic surgery. Spelling has had a nose job and breast augmentation. She has also had veneers to address dental issues. Spelling has used the diabetes substance Mounjaro to lose weight after having her 5th child. She also had tried Ozempic, but found Mounjaro to be more effective and less, traumatic on the body. And Spelling has a beauty line called Beauty with Tori, which sells products like lip plumbing balm, tinted moisturizer, and eyelash treatments. And right now, currently, she did, I believe, I don't want to assume, but it looks like a facelift. Her face looks dramatically different now.
Now, I know you guys are all wanting to know, what has Tori done lately? She looks so completely different. Now, there's a huge buzz about her look when she stepped out with her girlfriend for a girls' night out a few days ago. A lot of people thought she looked like Khloe Kardashian. Now, I do see some similarities, but when you look really closely, you can tell that that's definitely Tori. I do think it's mostly the styling and similar hair color that's making people give her that Khloe Kardashian comparison. You may still be wondering, what contributes to this Khloe Kardashian look? Well, I think that Khloe also had similar procedures done. If you want to know more about the procedures that I think Khloe has had done, please watch my Khloe Kardashian analysis video. If you take a look at the new Tori, speaking on video, you can see that she still looks very much like her old self, and we see her old features peeking through. But what procedures have led her to look so different to everyone else? Well, let me tell you what I think she's had done. Now, I definitely see a new nose. It looks like Tori's previous nose issues, where they took out too much cartilage, have been resolved. It looks like she had some type of graft done to her nose. Now, it could just be fat being used as a filler to her nose, but in general, her nose looks more projected. And when you project a nose, it can actually look smaller from the front. And this is what I'm seeing on Tori's face. I see a more narrow, smaller nose with a more button-like appearance that doesn't spread when she smiles like her past nose did. Now, her face is much fuller, but instead of being fuller in just a few spots like her cheeks or her chin, the way filler would look, it looks fuller overall, like she's had fat transfers. I believe she's had fat transfers, a full face of them. Now, her brows are higher and arched upwards, which speaks to her having a brow lift. Her eyes do look a bit smaller, and if you notice, they're the same narrowness whether smiling or in serious expression. This speaks to Tori having had a cheek lift. Now, last but not least, I believe that Tori had a facelift and a neck lift. We see her in these photos from June of 2021 looking very poofy and swollen. I believe this was around the time that Tori had all of these procedures done.
She still looks good to me, and I hope she stops and understands, she don't have to go further, and just kind of just accept herself and get to that stage of life where she heals, go through therapy and undo all of those childhood traumas so that you don't have to end up like the cat lady or something, Spelling has shared her beauty tips on her Instagram and Facebook accounts, including using a Lumi Spa, line corrector, and bronzing pearls. Now, here's a couple fun facts about her. Her favorite food is sushi, and she also loves peaches and McDonald's as a cheat meal. She's not really a breakfast person, as she said, and she also told Us Magazine that, "I hate drinking water. I can't understand why something flavorless is enjoyable. I'm obsessed with avocados. I eat one daily, and I passed the obsession on to my daughter Stella too," end quote. Tori Spelling's favorite color is Kelly green, so she used this color on the cover of her Mommywood magazine. So leave a green heart in the comments for her. But back to her childhood, Tori Spelling's history of tumultuous relationships began alarmingly young. Like way too young. At just 15, she plunged into a secret romance that was scandalous in more ways than one. The object of her affection, the family chef, who was a whopping 26 years old. When her parents caught wind of this sizzling affair, they erupted into a frenzy. The chef was canned, like he was fired, right? But Tori didn't escape unscathed. She found herself grounded for what felt like an eternity, and let's just say she didn't take it lying down. And 26 years old, that chef should have been more than fired. He should have been arrested and in somebody's jail. And they had over 20 plus people working in that home, so who know what else Tori probably got into that she is not even mentioning, or went unnoticed under her parents' ears. And with a house that large, with so many rooms, so many employees, so many friends and people over, how do you keep track of your children? It's just what's going on with your children. I don't know. And even the fact that she started being rebellious around that time too. It's like she probably was looking for affection so badly that anyone that was working in that house, that gave her affection, she just took it. And That's probably why she chose bad relationships also, which is a cautionary tale I always tell in these videos when we're watching. We see the same root cause of all of these traumas that are unnecessary is the parents. The parents, how you raise your children, the environment you allow them to be in, determines the kind of adults and the bad decisions or good decisions that they will make. How do they seek validation or love? Because if they're not getting at home, but there's adults that's around them, they could easily broom your child, if you know what I mean, because I can't use certain words for YouTube. But to be 26, I mean, who's to say that that's probably when they found out? She was 15, he was 26. But what if it was starting much younger? That's just when they found out. Looking back, it's clear that teenage Tori was blind to how inappropriate her relationship was, but her mother, Candy, only made things worse. During an emotional breakdown, Tori poured out her heart, only for Candy to coldly ask if she had slept with the chef. That's crazy. Devastated, Tori dramatically grabbed a letter opener, pretending to hurt herself in a desperate cry for help. So she took like a sharp letter opener and was about to cut herself, you know, to do that. But of course, like they just thought, okay, she's looking for attention. Kids really cry out for help in so many ways, and parents just be ignoring them. Her parents showered her with material gifts, but emotional support, that was something she could only dream of, you know, experiencing. And then also, though her dad doted on her and loved her, her mother, Candy, wore the pants in a home in a sense and kind of, you know, hey, it was what she said that went, according to Tori. So, like, yeah, the dad was always going to listen to his wife. Tori Spelling adored his daughter and was more than willing to leverage his Hollywood fame to catapult her into stardom. In her memoir, Storytelling, Tori recounts how, and it's a good memoir, by the way, I suggest you guys, if you want more into her life, I think it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But she recounts how the moment she expressed her desire to act, her dad pulled strings to land her guest spots on his shows. She started small, delivering one-liners on series like Vegas, Fantasy Island, TJ Hooker, and Love Boat, but it was a foot in the door. As the auditions rolled in, Tori began snagging bigger roles, including her first kiss on Saved by the Bell, with none other than Screech. But her breakout role as Donna on Beverly Hills 90210 was still courtesy of Dad. But, you know, she did end up going to audition herself to get the job, okay? Initially, the part was a consolation prize after she was turned down for the role of Kelly, and clearly my dad had said, just give my daughter some small role, she wrote, while she started with just a few lines in the pilot. Tori was over the moon, and Donna quickly became a fan favorite over the series of 10-year run. But there was a lot of jealousy, of course. A lot of people felt like you're not deserving. It's just because that's your dad, blah, 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 nepotism. So she got a lot of flack for that.
I understand when you went into audition for this show, I thought this took some chutzpah. You tried to use a different name, right?
I did, yes.
Well, good for you. If you would have just told your dad you wanted to be on, is he so much of the producer that he wouldn't have put you on, or would he have done it?
No, he wouldn't have felt right about it. He wouldn't have done that. He wanted me to audition for it.
Yeah.
But I said I wanted to do it under a different name. I knew I wanted to be on the show. I knew I could do it, and I wanted to get it on my own.
Yeah.
So I went in as Tori Mitchell.
I don't think anyone would like to read the only reason why she's on this show is because of her father. That's gotta hurt.
But that was nothing compared to the heat she was getting from the press.
To have reviews come out, there's like, she's the worst actress we've ever seen. I was like, how do you know? This is where all the plastic surgery rumors actually started. And they had a picture of me when I was like 13 or 14. And then a picture of me now at 17 going, look what she's had done. I just remember bawling my eyes out, thinking, oh my gosh, I've had my nose done.
I forgot to include in the original recording of this video about the whole beef with Shannon Doherty and how Tori Spelling was one of the people that spoke to her dad and was like, okay, she got to go. She's becoming too much of a problem on set. And how it was really the whole cast that got together because Shannon Doherty had a really bad reputation and kind of like a mean girl on set reputation. And all the whole cast was pressuring Tori to do something about it since, you know, your dad is the producer of the show. It was just interesting to hear from Tori's point of view because I did a video for Alyssa Milano and I did a video for Shannon Doherty. And now it seems like we're getting really a little bit of the background of what could have really happened by breaking down these personalities. So enjoy this clip talking about the whole situation.
The Manor became a dream hangout for Tori and her 90210 pals. especially Shannon Doherty.
Shannon was around a lot.
I can't get through the door of my house without finding Shannon there, which is great. She's a terrific girl, and we love having her.
Shannon's funny. She is really, she's a tiny little girl, and she's really, really tough. I mean, she would literally sit and wrestle with me and beat me up.
Not everyone agreed.
Shannon and I chose to not get along, and that made it more interesting for everyone. But Tori and Shannon got along great. They became very tight. They both filled some void for each other.
The rumors that she and I hate each other and don't get along is farthest from the truth.
But gossip spread about clashes between the two girls.
She might have had issues with other cast members, but it was never with me.
We're both on the show. We're there to stay, and we're happy about it. Yes, we love each other dearly, and we have never, we go on vacations together. It's just so stupid.
Actually, I auditioned for the part of Kelly, not for Donna.
Kelly being the,
Jenny Garth plays Kelly.
Yeah. I thought you wanted the Shannon Doherty part. Is there any truth to that story?
No.
No? Yeah? How is Shannon? Is she cool to get along with, or is she tough? She hated my guts, I could tell. She's a pissed-off kid, isn't she, huh? No, I mean, you don't have to verify that, I could tell. You don't have to, I know that it's an ensemble and you have to say nice things, but she was tough. Right? She looked like an angry kid to me. Okay.
Whoa, you got me there. No, she's a very nice person. Very close friend of mine. What do you want me to say? No, she is.
Yeah.
And I understand you two didn't get along, but we get along great.
Okay, all right. But,
In 1994, cast members and fans were stunned when Doherty abruptly left the show. Shannon and Tori fell out of touch for several years.
Tori also dishes how the cast unanimously decided to fire Shannon Doherty.
And I told them, I said, I feel really bad doing this. She's my friend. I don't feel like I should be doing this. And they're like, but you agree. And I did.
Landing the Donna role was monumental for Tori's career, but it came at a hefty price. Just 16, when she hit the jackpot, she candidly admitted in her memoir, "So for better or for worse, I grew up on the show." With the focus on her career, she sacrificed a typical adolescence and young childhood, and she openly regretted missing out on college experiences. "It kind of sucked that I didn't get to go to college," she lamented. As Tori became a household name, she had to mature rapidly. Her stint on 90210 brought in a steady paycheck, and she suddenly found herself financially independent. "I had a hit TV series, so I didn't really need my parents for anything," she told ABC, reveling in her newfound freedom. Yet the Hollywood spotlight came with its own set of demons. Enter Ryan, who, according to her, was sweet, normal, and Tori's first real love. But as her fame skyrocketed, she found herself drifting away from him. He was just getting boring, unwilling to share her glamorous new life. Poor Ryan, who even transferred colleges to be closer to her, never saw the betrayal coming. After 2 years of dating, Tori's infidelity rocked their relationship when she cheated on him with her co-star Brian Austin Green. Their on-set chemistry ignited into a hot and cold situationship that culminated in a dramatic showdown at a Disneyland event. As their characters on 90210 fell in love, Tori and Brian's off-screen romance spiraled into chaos. The series concluded with Donna and David's fairy tale wedding, which unearthed buried emotions for Tori. In that moment, she couldn't help but wonder if she still had feelings for Brian. But once she recognized she was getting swept up in nostalgia, she dove headfirst into even more explosive relationships. Tori's love life was a whirlwind of drama, heartbreak, and scandal. She also admitted to just everybody on a 90210 set was sleeping together, so she had her fair share of people on there.
Tori Spelling slept with more than one of her 90210 castmates.
Was there anyone else from that original cast, I'm just going to say it, that you had sex with?
The 42-year-old admits she slept with her 90210 co-star, Brian Austin Green.
Brian and I were the youngest. We were 16. And I remember the first time, I think I was always in love with Brian.
Revealed she had a big crush on Luke Perry, but also slept with one other co-star.
It was Jason Priestley.
Jason Priestley and Tori ended up as nothing more than friends.
It was a summer fling. It was offset. It was our version of like a summer romance.
Tori Spelling knows how to work hard, but does she know how to play harder? Yeah, she does. As her fame skyrocketed with 90210 and films like Scary Movie 2, with her privileged upbringing, Tori spent money like it was going out of style. When her bank account finally hit zero, the debt started piling up, and that's when the sharks started circling. Tori had a notorious weakness for bad boys, but actor Nick Savalas was a whole new brand of toxic. This guy didn't just bully her, he isolated her from her friends and family, raining down verbal, just the worst things you could say to a woman, he was saying to her every single day. And to fuel his gambling addiction, Nick shamelessly swiped Tori's bank cards and drained $500 from her daily. So can you imagine? He just took her cards and was swiping it. $500 a day is insane. It got so bad that her entire salary was funneled into covering his debts. He even managed to convince her to sell her beloved car, a Sweet 16 gift from her parents, so they could buy matching cars. The Porsche she handed over represented nearly half of her earnings, but the horror didn't end there. Just a week later, Nick crashed the Porsche. A week later, after leaving a club with another woman. This wasn't a one-time slip. Cheating was practically his full-time job. The betrayal deepened when Tori was working in New York, and a friend called only for some random woman to pick up and announce she was Nick's girlfriend. The audacity, and to bring his flings into the apartment that Tori was paying all the bills for. That's crazy. But in a shocking twist, Tori didn't break up with him. Instead, she tried to buy his affection, showering him with extravagant gifts, including a Rolex, as if that would somehow make up for his infidelities. Every time he cheated, for him not to leave her, she would just buy him gifts. She reminds me of Barbara Hutton, if you see my Barbara Hutton video, because that's exactly what she did. Which is just crazy, just buy the man's affections. But then came Casper Van Dien, Tori's love interest in 90210. Nick was not a fan of this blossoming romance, and when he answered Casper's call, he exploded in a fit of jealousy, hurling the phone at Tori and shoving her against the counter. To escape the chaos, Tori had to lock herself in a bathroom just to speak to her terrified co-star. The truth was now becoming like, oh wow. So Casper, of course, witnessed, he heard everything that was going on in the phone and was mortified. He heard the violence. He was like, Nick is a loser. And he went and spilled the beans to all of the 90210 cast members. Y'all need to help her out. She's in this toxic, crazy relationship. Casper wanted her to actually call the cops, but Tori insisted everything was fine, taking up for Nick, However, she showed up to work with a nasty bruise on her, and Casper ended up documenting that in case Nick faced repercussions. So he did document her bruises to be like, hey, in case anything happens, I'm going to report this, But again, when someone's grown, what can you do? Other cast members were equally disturbed, but their concerns only added to Tori's isolation and stubbornness. She just did not want to take the advice at the moment. Her parents were alarmed by Tori's toxic relationship, but they chose to stay silent, fearing it would push her away even further, because by then she started to remove herself from her family too. And you know how it is when you are in a deep relationship. Anyone who tries to help becomes an enemy, and her parents just didn't want to be completely cut off from her that way. Meanwhile, the 90210 cast, led by Luke Perry, staged an intervention. Unfortunately, it backfired, leading to a rift between Tori and Luke that lasted for months. They eventually made amends, but it took years for Tori to express her gratitude. Ironically, Tori's character on the show also found herself in a harmful relationship, as she couldn't make the connections at the time. I don't know if the producers or the writers were like, let's kind of open her eyes here and make her be in a situation just like this on the show. Maybe she'll see, hey, I'm in a weird, this is describing my situation. But it just went over her head. She just did not notice. The turning point came during one of Nick's infamous tirades, where he was just hurling insults at her, belittling her talents and her looks, But this time something clicked for her. His hateful words echoed the nasty tabloid headlines that had tormented her for years. And that moment, Tori realized she had to cut Nick loose. You're no different than these tabloids. With the help of friends, she changed the locks and packed up all of Nick's belongings in garbage bags. Under the cover of night, they drove to actress Nicolette Sheridan's house, and don't worry, I'll be doing a video for her. She also was on Desperate Housewives, but she's Nick's sister, and dumped his stuff on her front lawn. That's when Nicolette stepped outside, and Tori stammered an apology saying, I'm sorry, are you mad at me? And Nicolette was like, what, girl, mad? I told you to break up with him a year ago. Now come inside and have some tea, end quote. Tori finally grasped that, wow, even his own sister saw that this was toxic. Why couldn't I see it? I didn't have a boyfriend. I had a money-sucking, verbal abuser making a fool out of me every single day, she said, end quote. Just like that, Tori freed herself from the chains of a disastrous romance. Let's go on to her next toxic relationship, which was with Vincent Young, who truly turned her love life into a roller coaster of chaos. Vincent was nothing but trouble, reveling in his newfound fame while insisting that Tori cater to his every whim. Instead of enjoying their time together, he expected her to be a doting housewife, staying home while he basked in the spotlight. This bizarre arrangement dragged on for 2 long years until an unexpected savior appeared at a party. Enter the mysterious stranger who claimed to have psychic powers. He approached Tori with a warning saying, I don't want to scare you, but I have a message for you. He told her, hey, you are in toxic relationships, you don't know how to pick men, and you need to change your life. And just like that, she was like, you know what? You're right. I need to break up with this guy. And she did. Of course, he wasn't going to let her go that easy. He tried to trap her with an engagement ring, but luckily this time she was smart enough to be like, nah. Soon after, she found herself flirting with Charlie Shanian, and he was my favorite for her. And just like Barbara Hutton with Cary Grant, she just had to go and mess that one up. That's when I was like, girl, I'm trying to have sympathy for you. But how she handled Charlie, I just couldn't have any sympathy for it. So he was a co-star who is a complete opposite of her usual bad boy type, right? Tori's friends were skeptical at first because Charlie was more introverted, religious, and traditional, far from the wild lifestyle she was used to. He was a good guy, loved her, you know. At home, Charlie was quick, though, to put Tori in her place because he didn't like foul language. And he told her, hey, we need to stop cursing in the house. That's how much of a good guy he was. This was just one of many signs that their relationship was destined for disaster because Tori was like... You know, she was Tori. She dreamed of a fairy tale future with Charlie, or at least the illusion of one. So they did get engaged, and he proposed to her with flowers and candles on one knee, all of that good stuff, right? Planning the wedding should have been a joyous occasion, but it quickly devolved into a nightmare thanks to Tori's, mother, she called controlling at the time, Candy. Since her parents were footing the bill, Candy called the shots, changing the date and venue at the last minute and reneging on promises to cover costs. Tori and Charlie were left scrambling to manage expenses they couldn't afford, all while Candy made it clear that her love was measured by how much money she spent. The wedding day, which is supposed to be the highlight of a woman's life, Tori felt more like a character in a movie than the bride herself. After all the stress of Candy's penny pinching, her mom unveiled a surprise performance by her favorite artists, a gift that left Tori feeling overshadowed and heartbroken the day of and had turned it into Candy's moment. So basically, Candy hired a singer that was her own favorite singer, not Tori's favorite singer, to sing at the wedding, and kind of like took over. She was a momzilla. The wedding itself marked the beginning of the end for Tori and Charlie. After a chaotic celebration, Charlie literally had to drag Tori off the dance floor to spend their wedding night together. Once they finally made it to their suite, Tori opted for a long, drawn-out bath, clearly stalling what was supposed to be their romantic first night together. She wasn't even trying to sleep with him. This was a glaring sign that she was about to break the heart of this man who had been so eager to build a life with her. Tori's fairy tale was unraveling before it even began. The moment Tori Spelling met her co-star Dean McDermott, it was game over. Their chemistry was electric and the conversation flowed effortlessly until Tori glanced down and spotted Dean's wedding ring and pictures of his kids. He was married. It was a fleeting reminder that she has a husband too. But the thought vanished almost immediately. So they both were married and didn't care. Things escalated quickly. They ended up sleeping together on the very first day. And when Tori woke up next to him the next morning, you would think that she would feel some form of guilt. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did this to Charlie. But no, she felt a thrilling rush of freedom. She said she felt no regrets. I had no regrets, she thought, realizing there was something deeply wrong with her marriage. After filming Wrapped, Tori and Dean made a pact to leave their partner in like 6 months, right? Poor Charlie, right? Tori avoided Charlie like the plague, consumed with thoughts of Dean and whether he would stick to their plan. She didn't have to wait long for the answer because Dean's wife was a little more crafty, figured it out, and kicked him out. But Charlie still didn't know yet what was going on, so she was playing both sides. But one evening, Charlie made his intentions clear, hinting that he wanted to get intimate when they got home because they just weren't getting as intimate, right? So he's like, you're my wife, I want to... Come on now. But Tori couldn't bear the thoughts of cheating on Dean. Can you imagine you're married and you can't bear the thought of cheating on your mistress? Okay, let me not call him a mistress. I'm gonna call him a mistress. That's crazy. So she kept the drinks flowing and the party going to avoid going home with Charlie, right? So Charlie was like, if you go out, our marriage is over. He was joking though, but like it turned into an argument really quick. Angry and hurt, Charlie stormed home alone. He went home alone while Tori made a beeline for Dean. She went to his house that night. The thrill of the chase had turned into an all-out sprint. After some time apart, Tori finally found the strength to end things with Charlie. When they met in therapy, he broke down sobbing. I'm not going to let you get rid of me. I love you, he said. It took both Tori and the therapist to finally cut the ties, like, sir, she doesn't want you. And Charlie finally had a moment of clarity, and he said, is this about someone else? Did you cheat on me? It was with Dean, wasn't it? The truth hit him really hard, but it also set both of them free. I can't even imagine. But just when they thought they could bask in their newfound love, disaster struck. Tori and Dean were blindsided by news that a tabloid was planning to expose their affair. They scrambled to inform friends and family before the scandal broke. But Tori attempted to reach out to her mother, but Candy was always too busy to talk. And the disappointment from her parents over her affair and divorce led to a massive rift in them. They were not happy. Like, no one was happy. It was very scandalous too. Can you imagine? Her parents was like, bruh. And her mom was annoyed with Dean. I can imagine that one. I'm not blaming Candy for it, because girl, what are you doing? Dean's ex-wife Mary warned Tori that Dean wasn't exactly known for his fidelity, but Tori brushed off the warnings. Like, the ex-wife was like, girl, you gonna lose him how you get him. He's not faithful. He's not this. He's gonna give you a lot of problems. But Tori really was like, nah, we love each other. He's never gonna do that to me. And after all, she believed that she and Dean were meant to be. He was my soulmate. I'm his soulmate. In May 2006, less than a year after their fateful meeting and just a month after her divorce was finalized, that's crazy. Tori and Dean eloped. They eloped. After all the drama and chaos they endured to get to this point, it should have, been a happy ending. But nope. So she went out to lunch with her dad, because she was estranged from her family because of her lifestyle choices, but her dad met up with her for lunch, and Tori Spelling dropped a bombshell that rocked her world. He revealed that Tori and her brother Randy would each inherit only $800,000 from his colossal $500 million fortune. That's, like 0.16% of the Spelling empire. Wow. And where was the rest going? Straight to their mother, Candy, the reigning queen of Hollywood theatrics. Just 2 months later, a tragedy struck in June 2006 when the 83-year-old Aaron suffered a devastating stroke. He left behind a monumental legacy, a fortune that could have transformed lives, and a family that was more torn apart than ever before. Tori, always the hustler, scrambled between television gigs, book deals, and various money-making schemes to stay afloat, but reality hit hard. No amount of hustling could mask her spending addiction, and relying on Candy for support was a fool's errand. Candy claimed that Tori's estrangement from Aaron was what killed her husband. She said, my daughter one day decided that she wasn't speaking to my husband, myself, and my son. And that's how it continued for the last, for 4 or 5 years. And it was sad. That's what killed my husband, actually. He just didn't want to live after that, end quote. Candy has implied that if Tori received a more sizable inheritance, she would have blown through it because of her admittedly bad spending habits. So the mom was like, we knew that if we had given her, say, 10 million, 20 million, or even 100 million, that money would have been gone within a year. In a 2014 conversation with the New York Times, she said Tori would close a store and drop 50,000 to 60,000. I never did anything like that. She just went crazy, end quote.
It could be worse.
Yeah,
I think it could be a lot worse.
You got kind of a raw deal when your dad passed away. Obviously had a huge net worth, and he left her although it sounds like a lot of money, it ended up being a very small amount based on what he was worth.
What if he had given me 50 million? And what if with that 50 million, I had changed the world? What if I am the fierce hustler and businesswoman I am today, but with that? We could have had so many poodles and parachutes, if he'd done that.
We could have great parties.
Exactly.
Did you feel like you were misunderstood in a lot of the tabloid stories that have been out there about your relationship with your daughter?
I'm always there to support her and to follow her dreams. As a mom, of course, it hurts to ever see your child hurting or, to be going through anything that's traumatic. And, so I'm there for her.
Candy has said that she plans to pass some of the family fortune to her grandchildren, telling people in 2009, someday my grandchildren will know who I am because of the trust funds I have set up for them, but I would like to be a part of their lives now, end quote. And I do think that's kind of a little bit of hypocritical that they were so hard on her and her spending habits. I mean, look at the childhood that you guys gave her, and even Candy with the house, because Tori said that the manor was not her dad's style. It was Candy, her mom, who wanted that big old 50, almost 60,000 square foot home. She decored it. She had impeccable taste. She had the doll museum. She had 2 gift wrapping rooms in there. Rooms just to gift wrap. You have 2 rooms just to gift wrap. Like, come on. And they were pretty lavish. That's excessive amount of money. You had so many rooms that the kids didn't even, Tori herself says she hadn't even seen all the rooms that were in the house. Can you imagine 100 and something rooms in a house? Like, so it's kind of hypocritical if you give a child that kind of lifestyle and then scold them in the future if they grow up with bad money habits where you're dripping snow in the backyard. And Tori also said that on one of her birthdays, the way they dropped her gift to her was everyone went in the backyard and there was a helicopter that came and everybody was holding this spread out sheet situation where everybody was holding it and the helicopter dropped this little blue box in the center of it of the X, and then it opened up and it was a doll. Like, that was her, how she received her gift. Can you imagine? And then now, if she's bad with money, you guys are scolding her. I mean, look at the lifestyle you live. Look at your home, the money, the way you spend money. I just think it was a little hypocritical. I don't know. I don't agree with that. Fast forward to 2013, and Tori found herself embroiled in yet another scandal, this time involving her husband, Dean McDermott. I was waiting for it. I ain't even gonna lie. When rumors of Dean's infidelity began to circulate, Tori was in total denial. I didn't think for a second that it was true, she mentioned. But after confronting him, Dean confessed and soon checked himself into rehab for addiction. Just when Tori thought her life couldn't spiral further out of control, the tabloids caught wind of the scandal, turning her private heartache into public gossip fodder. So how did the tabloid scoop up all the juicy details? From his mistress, Emily Goodhand, who was Dean's 28-year-old mistress who sold the story to the press. She and Dean had crossed paths while he was away from home, and they wasted no time getting intimate, sleeping together on their first meeting and continuing their affair the very next day. To add insult to injury, Dean had the audacity to tell Emily that he wasn't even sleeping with Tori anymore. Can you imagine? So exactly how it happened with her. She slept with Dean the first night. This mistress slept with him the first night and continued the affair. You literally do lose him how you get him, ladies. Please don't ever think you're too good or you're better than the wife, okay? Reeling from the betrayal, Tori and Dean decided to fix their marriage by going on a reality show called True Tori, where they showed their couples therapy sessions together. And one particularly unforgettable episode featured an emotional reunion between Tori and her ex-husband, Charlie Shanian. And forgive me if I'm pronouncing his last name incorrectly, but I was so happy for Charlie that, to me, it was vindication for him. That's just what I'll say, okay? Before their 2-hour heart-to-heart, Tori was a bundle of nerves, feeling physically sick, and by the end of the conversation, she was sobbing, realizing that Charlie was and still is a genuinely good man. He was the one that got away. When she relayed this revelation to Dean, he couldn't help but ask if she regretted leaving Charlie for him. Tori admitted that seeing Charlie ignited her anger towards Dean, but she concluded, "I chose not to be with him. I chose to be with you. I made the choice, so I need to see it out."
I feel like I did so much. I hurt him so bad. He's just such a good man. He's forgiven me. In leaving, I felt very alone.
Are you feeling his pain? Or...
No. I just feel like loss. Feeling my pain. When I left, I just suddenly felt really alone. And I don't know why.
Do you have any feelings of regret?
Yeah, I regret the way I handled things, obviously. It's a good man.
Does seeing him, remembering what a good man he was, does it bring up more anger towards me and resentment for what I did?
A little bit.
I must say that in the clip you could see in her eyes and the way she was mourning. I mean, I was like looking at Dean like, yikes. I kind of felt a little bad for him sitting there because he's like, you're consoling your wife about her regrets with marrying you, because that's what it was given. It was given like, dang, I really love Charlie, a good man, for this idiot sitting next to me right now. I feel lonely. Because how do you feel lonely next to your husband? Charlie felt like family and felt like home. And I just felt like, you know, when you do good people dirty, you may not feel it now. You may feel like they're boring now or lame now or whatever. You will one day see that this person was actually good to you and regret it. And I was sad for her. I was broken for her. Come on, you know, she didn't know any better, you know. But I also was really happy for Charlie that he got his little moment. He probably needed that too, to heal for himself, for her to have that recognition. Because a lot of times when people leave you in such a manner, you can take on the blame, like, what was wrong with me? Was I lame? Was this? No, you need to heal and see that, hey, I was good, and this person in the long run does realize that they made a mistake, and with me they probably could have found happiness. But hey, she probably saved him a huge amount of debt too, and headaches. Because Tori definitely had some issues and struggles with her money. But Tori did end up divorcing Dean. And guess what? Guess who filed for divorce first? Dean. He had the audacity to. He told British media that they had slept separately since 2017 after Spelling started bringing pets into the bedroom and bathroom, including a pig, chicken, and dogs. And we know dogs have accidents, and our particular dogs were having a lot. And I just couldn't deal with that anymore, he shared. So I created a healthy boundary for myself, and I said, I can't do this. I can't live and sleep in this kind of conditions, end quote. He also explained how his alcohol and substance abuse, you know, negatively impacted his marriage and relationship with his children. And then also he spoke out about Candy a lot. You know, it was just a chatty patty. He went out and spoke about Candy and was like, you know, you have all this money, your daughter's struggling, look at our grandchildren. Like, I don't want the money for myself, but at least help her out, do something, blah, blah, blah. How could you be a mom, blah, blah. You know, the whole guilt thing towards her. Candy never really responded or said anything to him. But the chaos didn't stop there. Tori's life morphed into a real-life horror story when her children fell ill from a mysterious ailment. The cause remained a mystery until August, when they discovered it was mold. The family had to flee their rental home and checked into a shabby motel that was $100 a night, right? Tori clung to the hope that this was just a temporary setback, but spoiler alert, it turned out to be temporary in the worst way imaginable. In a flash, Tori's living situation spiraled further into chaos. Soon people spotted her and her family living in a mobile home. Was this a permanent living arrangement? She was living in like a trailer park in an RV. Was Candy stepping in to lend a hand? Not at the moment, but the most haunting question was, how did she end up here? And she was talking to TMZ, and she told TMZ, my family and I need a home, you know, her and her kids basically. So how did she end up here? That's like sad, right? Well, in 2016, Spelling and her then husband, Dean McDermott, were hit with a tax lien for over $260,000 for unpaid state taxes from 2014. Bad shopping habits die hard, she said. And in all honesty, I grew up a certain way. I never had to worry about money. That was my reality, end quote. So she was saying for the first time, I had to really figure out money. She also said she didn't ever learn how to even sign a check until the age of 40. So she had no financial literacy. Her parents failed her in that department. And this is one of the things, because that happened with Brian McKnight too, and so many celebrity parents that kind of disown their kids, or rich, wealthy celebrities. I don't like and I don't agree with, because a lot of people be like, yeah, let those kids figure it out on their own, they're a little spoiled. But you guys don't pay attention about how these parents fail their kids, because y'all don't teach them financial literacy. You don't teach them how to save their money. You don't teach them the value of money. You spoil them when they're young, and you don't even teach them how to have a bank account, how to sign a check. The fact that she didn't know how to sign a check at 40. And then after you get annoyed with them asking so much, you throw them out to the wolves. Like, you prepared your child to fail. It is a revelation about the way you raise your children, not them. And the parents thinking it's making the kids look bad, but it makes the parents look bad. You look bad as parents, right? When your kids are so bad with money, because what were you teaching your kids? And children are a reflection of their parents, you know, and I'll say that even to Tori, that whatever her kids do, she has to be mindful of how she raised her kids too. Like, if you're eating crazy, your kids will eat crazy. It will show in their faces, their bodies, everything, right? It shows. We see those homes where, you know, unfortunately, we all know some people that let their kids eat however, because they eat however. If you're spending crazy, you're always buying frivolous things. Like Tori said, she's a hoarder. She just keeps things all the time. Your kids will have those spending habits. Children really mirror their parents. So it's crazy that she didn't know how to even write a check. And that says a lot about just the lack of skills to survive, like survival skills that her parents taught her. And that's the case with a lot of these poor little rich girls and these Harrises. And I have a lot more videos to do on those, and men too. Surprisingly, they just grow up not really having financial literacy. And even a lot of celebrities, actors and actresses, they get all this money, all this fame, and never learn how to save money, how to properly invest, how to not spend recklessly. They just go crazy, right? Although Spelling paid off $88,000 in debt a few years ago in January 2023, it was reported that she owed $1.3 million in back taxes to the IRS, which is about 9 times more than her estimated net worth. In September 2024, Spelling was announced as one of the celebrities competing on season 33 of Dancing with the Stars. She was partnered with Pasha Pashkov, and in November 2024, the actress moved into a $12,000 a month home in Calabasas, according to the Daily Mail. And again, financial literacy would have told you $12,000 a month home probably wouldn't be as wise to do after going through such financial setbacks. In the meantime, according to Celebrity Net Worth, Spelling's fortune currently stands at around $150,000. That's quite a step down from $1.5 million in 2022 per Yahoo. A lot of these celebrities, I tell you, they just have the fame. They don't have the money. I don't care how wealthy they look, because a lot of you guys are watching right now. I'm sure your net worth is way more than $150,000. Okay. I know so many people that's just working the average job that's worth more than that. That's crazy. And that would tell you that if that's your net worth, if you keep owing so much, maybe a $12,000 a month. And I'm not judging her or being critical, but this is a cautionary tale. And I like to do my videos in a way where you guys learn lessons from them too. This is not just entertainment, but you learn lessons, okay, throughout if I can. Every now and then you get a good story that's like, hey, learn something from this. Let's not repeat. And I just would say that, a lot of people criticize Tori because there's like, hey, how you owed Amex? She owed American Express so much money, hundreds of thousands of dollars that she didn't pay back. But then she was seen wearing Balenciaga boots, I believe, or a sweater. And there was fans that were critiquing that, like, did you pay off MX yet? And you wearing Balenciaga? And I'd say to anybody watching Our Money, if you're in this amount of debt or you have this much financial problems, and people know, like everyone knows Tori's financial situation. It makes every headlines. Like you put her name in on Google search, the articles that all will come about is her financial woes, right? Her scandals and stuff. So everyone knows you have financial woes. So if you're still wearing designer to keep up appearances, it just makes you look kind of foolish. I know that sounds harsh, but when people know you don't have it, and they see you still trying to flex like you do, it just comes off really sad. And I'm just sad. I'm sad for celebrities. I feel like they have to keep up those appearances. On my Mental Gems channel, I'm going to do a video on that. I did a video recently on my Mental Gems about how to get out of like 500K plus debt, which, I had to learn a lot of difficult lessons on how to get out of debt. But my next video that's coming up probably Sunday on my Mental Gems channel, which the link is in the description for you guys to go subscribe to, that is going to be on why we should not care to keep up appearances for people. How keeping up appearances and caring and doing all that was making me go broke for a very long time. And I had to learn that lesson as a cautionary tale. So I'm not judging. I'm speaking from experience myself. Okay. Like be wise. It's not worth it. Be smart with your money, invest properly, and just be wise. Learn financial literacy. That's all I'll say. But my heart do go out for Tori, and I just wish she had a better childhood and she just learned a little bit better. She does seem to be doing a lot better now. And I think she still looks good. Even the plastic surgery that she has recently, I think it fit her well. She looks really good to me, very youthful, and I wish her luck. I did a video for Shannon Doherty already. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. And yeah, I'm going to do a lot more videos on our favorite 90s, sitcoms too, because I know I've done a lot on the, old glamour Hollywood. I still have a lot more to do for those, but I want to incorporate some of our favorite 90s stars also as time is passing. So Comment below who else would you guys like me to add to my list. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you in the next one.